What's up, guys? It's James back again, streaming some more front-end mentor challenges. Let me just turn down the tunes, they're a little loud for me. Let me know if it's too quiet. So apparently I'm just going to keep zooming to the oblivion. Let's try that again. So this is what we're building today. This is what it looks like. We've been given the same kind of assets as before, with some slight changes. So there's now active states like valid email addresses, etc. Things like that. So we'll take care of those too. So let's begin. Let's see what we have for images. That's the SVG for the background. That's the icon. That's the image of the girl. The mobile image version. That's an arrow, an error, and one more logo. So first, let's just get rid of this for now because you guys know who I am. This is what we have. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy. But we're gonna have to do some work here. So what we're gonna have to do is set this kind of on the left side, then set this as the right section, and then we can continue on from there. Shouldn't be too crazy in the sense that what we're doing is not too much different than what we did before. So let's see where we're at. So first, let's create. So let's create like a main section here, and this will house just the main content. And then we can do sort of another div here, and we'll call this left. Can't type today. Fingers just not working the way they're supposed to. Let's try this one more time. There we go. Left section. And then inside that div, we can house some of the stuff as well as most of the writing, I guess, and the form. And then we'll set the image. Okay, so we're going to set for sure all of this is going to be housed as one. Like this will be the left section, and then we'll do it in the right hand section will be the rest. So let's do another div, and we'll set the class to that to be right section, and inside of that will basically be, I guess, just the image of some nature. And then we'll do some work around like background image being big, small, whatever. And then to make sure that we have, so there's going to be a JavaScript element here somewhere at some point. So we're just going to call this like at.js script. Yeah, we'll call it script.js if I can type. And then that will house the script that basically will do all of our work around what is the word I'm looking for? Email validation, right? Because like if you look at the active state right here, when they try and do this, like this happens, they get the like, hey, you didn't provide this valid email address. Do you know what an email is? Like, so we need to fix that. And then once we have that all done, we can do some other stuff. So let's add a script.js, and we'll also add a styles.css, which are the same things I used every time. And then we'll do a link now equals style sheet type equals CSS, and her ref is this. right, and we'll close that out. And then that should give us basically like the beginning. We don't even need this because we already know it's type style sheet with this. So that will give us like the beginning piece. So we set like the framework, right? So we have a main section that's going to house everything. Close the window that has all my chat stuff in. And then from there, you'll be able to do the right section. And then on top of that, we'll be able to do everything else. So I guess let's work on like setting these to what we expect them to be. Like, is it an H1? Should it be an H2, etc. So looking at this design, right, this is definitely an H1, and then this is like a paragraph, and then this is a form input of some nature. And then from there, we should be off to the races. Like, this is just an image. Like, there's nothing for us to do. And then on the mobile design, this logo is at the top, then there's the image, then it's everything else, and then it's the email address at the bottom. So we'll have to take that into consideration too when we do imaging and all that kind of stuff. So to begin with, let's do right. So let's do H1 that contains this, and we can place that in here, sort of like this, and then we'll set this to a P because it's just a paragraph of text. Like, there's nothing special about it. And then underneath, we'll have to do some sort of form, and then that's going to hold like the error icons and the error underneath. And then we can go sort of like, so it's going to definitely be a form of some nature. It's going to be an input and the class, and we can set it to email. Let's just make sure we use double quotes so that everything's the same. Email address. So that's now the input class, right? So now we have that we know this is going to be email. The type is email as well, which helps with form validation, which we'll do our own. And then we'll do a placeholder that says email address, which is just this piece, right? So when you're looking at this, like, there's email address in the placeholder. So now we have that. Basically, we wouldn't need anything else. So let's do that. For now, let's just leave it as that. Like, we won't do anything special until later. And then we'll go from there. Like, I'm just trying to think what's the easiest way to do first. Like, maybe we should just do trying to think what's the best way. I'm thinking to myself that, like, maybe we just take care of this form validation like right away, because it's going to be really simple form validation, and we could just knock it out and then go back and style it afterwards. Or should we just style this whole thing and then come back and do the scripts last? Because there's not much left. Honestly, like, this is basically done at this point. Like, it's just stylings that is gonna help, and then obviously we're gonna have to put this error icon in here too. But like, for the most part, it's already done. So let's put the image for the email error, and then we'll do source equal to what's the images, right? That's what we use here, and this will be an error. And then we'll just put an alt attribute on it that says invalid email. And we'll close that out. So now we have like the bare bones of the form. We don't really, I guess, like, the other part of it is the button itself. Now the button itself is a little different because it kind of has like a active state to it, and also like an arrow. Like if you look at this, it has like an arrow, right? And then like when you like do this and click on it, it shows up here with this here. So let's add the button 2. So we're just going to set a button, and then inside the button we'll have the image, which is images, and then arrow, and then we'll set this to input selection. No, arrow button image. It's always important to like make your alt something useful, because screen readers and things like that will read the alts if they don't, like, to help with people with ADA. So, and then underneath we'll just put like, please provide email address. Is it address or just email? Boop, 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 boop. Email. All right. So get rid of that. All right. Email error message. This is div. And that'll give us everything there. And then, like, we're going to have to do some work here too, because based on the design, this is a span. This would be H1. This would be a span inside the H1 that handles. Basically, you just do a line break here to break this up, and then you continue on as you go. So, based on that input, you would do like a span. I guess we could just do a break. Is break self-closing? It needs a close, right? Yeah. And then we can make this a span and put this inside. And then that will give us like, hopefully some variant of what we want. I'm trying to think, is that right? But let's see. Let's go live and see what we're looking at. So we are coming soon, which is the same. Obviously, none of this is styled right now. So let's do some stuff here. First, let's stick this on this side. Stretch down here. And then we'll just snap that here. Snap it a bit wider and a bit longer to give us like a nice canvas to work on, right? So now when I make changes here, we'll see them over here and vice versa. So let's start working on other pieces too. So one important thing is we do have the icon, and the icon is like changes based on if it's mobile or if it's desktop, right? So this is desktop. Look at the mobile design, it's slightly different. Like it takes up a lot of room. And then like we'll work on some other stuff here at the same time. So it comes before the we're coming soon. So we'll do something like images logo, and then we'll call it the alt attribute to be base Apparel's logo, because that's what it is, right? It's not just a logo, it's the base Apparel's logo. If you just joined, welcome. I just see someone pop up. And then we'll close that out. And then we should give it a class too, right? So let's give this a class of we can give it the class of logo. I was like, should we give it something fancy? But logo's fine. All right, so now we have this, and then I think that's it for now. Oh, actually, you know what? While we're here, crazy idea. Above this, we'll actually just put the image in for the hero on mobile. Hero image mobile. So now that we have the hero image, that will take care of when we shrink it to mobile size. Like we'll just use that right away, so that we're not like trying to do something fancy. And then the alt is the base apparel model image. Like, it looks horrible right now. We have no styles on it. It's just basic stuff. But the key here is that we're just going to iterate until we get to the finished product. So let's do some styling on at least this section. What's going on here? What did I miss here? Oh, we didn't close out the tag. So it got all messed up. All right, so let's start styling some stuff, and then we can kind of see how it looks and then come back and then go from there. So they did give us some styles. We're using Josephine Sands this time, which we can take this and just open it up here and see what it looks like. What kind of funky font they've got going on. This, you know, sort of in that standard sans fonts. And then the weights are 3, 4, and 600. Body size is 16 pixels. And then we got some gradients and some colors. And then this is the mobile breakpoint. So 375, and desktop is 1440. Shouldn't be too much trouble. So let's first import this. So it's at import with URL, and then we're going to put the URL in, which we can actually grab from this side. So if you've never used this before, you can do, I want 300, I want 400, and I want 600. Like, those are the style colors that are in the style guide. And then you can just kind of do this. I want to embed it, and it will give you the link. And we just want the URL. So if we just steal this URL and plop it in CSS like that, and save it, like that will import that full URL here. Actually, I just want CSS, not CSS2. So that takes care of that part. Now we need to do, I guess, we have a couple options. Yeah, let's do it that way. All right, so if you use root, and then we do this, desat, just grab it from here. I can't spell. Desaturate red. There we go. Desaturate red. And then set it to what it should be, which we probably have in the style guide. Here. And then what am I doing? There. Yeah, that is a meaty query. Did I forget semicolon at the end? Yeah, okay. I'm like, did I forget how to be a person? All right, there we go. Now I should stop complaining about everything. All right, and then we can do soft red. Was the other color that was in that list, and let's grab that CSS2 from the style guide. And we'll just dump that in here. And now we have a soft red and a desaturated red, which are the two colors, which are basically like the primaries. And then we can add the darkish grayish red, which is exactly what we'll call it. We'll just dump this in here like this, and we'll just make the edit. So what I'm doing here is making variables so that I can reference them later. It just makes life easier. You can just like name the variable versus like if I have to put this in multiple places, I don't want to have to keep being like, what's the HSL for darkish grayish red? And nobody's going to remember. And then we have two gradients, right? Those are the last things that we need. So to do those, we can do a gradient, and then gradient. I'm just trying to make sure that we give it a good name. If in the style guide, it doesn't really have one, so we'll just call it gradient 1, gradient 2. And without knowing what they currently are, like it makes it very difficult to do something with. So we'll take this. This is almost exactly what we want anyway, so dump this in here. And then it's going to be linear gradient. Oh, did I spell that right? L-I-N linear gradient. Yep. And then inside of that, we need parentheses. And it's going to be 135 degrees. And then the HSL. And then a comma. And then the next HSL. And then we should close that out. And that should give us that gradient. I hope I did that right. And then what we'll do is we'll copy and paste that here. Should probably put a semicolon at the end there. Those are important. And with that being said, let's grab the last styles, which we just want the HSLs because the gradients are the same, right? So like we're doing 135 degrees. So we'll dump that here. What's the other one? Cool, cool, cool. And bingo. So that gives us everything there. Let me just open another Chrome window here because apparently my chat window for Twitch just decided to give up. Let me just fix that real quick and then we can come back and do some more. But so far we've basically taken care of like the easiest thing, which is like we're going to use all of these at some point, and getting them out of the way now makes life a lot easier. So we won't have to worry about that. And then what we'll do here is we'll just get my channel stuff running here. All right, that should fix that problem. All right, let's carry on here. So now we have the root stuff done. Now we need to take care of the annoying stuff like this. This basically just resets the size of the windows back to normal to make sure that you don't have any like when you start playing around the margins and stuff, like you'll find that like if you don't reset this, you'll be screwed later. All right, so that takes care of that. Now let's set the body. Now the body inside this design, it has like it's really hard to see, but there is a gradient here. It's very subtle, but it's there, and it could just be. There you go. It's easier to see on this. You see, there's like a gradient that goes up and around, So let's take care of that, and then we can come back and look at everything else. So the body, it's going to need the background color, or just background image, not color, because we already set the like it's here. Like these are gradients and stuff, so like we can just do this and then do that. And if we hit save, the gradient should be there as long as I can see something. Yeah, I see something there. And then we can set the font family to Josephine, and then sans. There we go. That changed that to, and then we'll put a backup for sans serif just in case somebody's doesn't support that. Now we can kind of do the fun stuff, right? So this literally just got us to a baseline of like, this is how we do things. So now what we can do is take the main section and put flex on it and put a minimum height on it so that anything that we do after that won't be affected by anything. So let's see here. So main, we'll set display to flex and min height to the 100 of the viewport. Okay, so we're slowly making our way through. Then we need to do the logo. I didn't call it logo though, did I? I'm like looking at this like, this is a logo, so that's what I called it, but oh no, I did. All right, cool. So I called it dot logo, all intentional. So let's start with a 50 pixel margin. Set the width to 200 pixels. We'll go with that. Then we'll set the mobile version. What did I call the mobile logo? Hero image mobile. We want to set this to display none. There we go. So this is why I was saying earlier, like, it's easier for us to set things one at a time and like sort of iterate on what we're doing. And the reason I set this to display none is that I'm going to set it to display when we set the pixels for the media queries, and then I'll set it back to something. So now we have an H1 that is this section right here, and we'll set this and then see how it looks. So the color we'll set to darkish grayish red. Why is my query not working? Maybe that is darkish grayish red? Really hard to tell. Yeah, okay. May not show up on the stream so well, but if you see, like, it is black when it's not. So we did that part. Okay, that did work. I thought it didn't work for a second, then I was like, ugh. Let's see here. So technically the top section is the desaturated, and then the span is this color, right? So I guess we can do this differently. desaturated red. Okay. Hello. Maybe that's just not working at all. Alright, well, I guess. There we go. Okay, we'll just do this slightly differently then than using variables, because apparently I have no idea what I'm doing today. Alright. Do we have any font sizing for headers or anything? No. Okay. Alright, now we can do something like font size for EMs. That could be right. Whoa, hello. Yeah, there we go. That's always a way to figure some stuff out. If you like don't know what the size should be, set it to an EM and then set it to a pixel, and then see if like the pixel is kind of what you're looking for, and then set it to that EM. Then we'll set like a 10 pixel letter spacing, give it like that sort of sweet spacing that we have there. And then we'll need to do things like transform the text to uppercase. Set the font weight to 200. Make it light, because this part is technically pretty thick or pretty fat, as we'd call it. So like this, like it's got a heavier weight than this, although this still looks weird. Alright, hold on a second. Let's just set this back to what pixels kind of look good, and then we can go. Still looks the same to me. Yeah, alright, we'll just leave it as is for now, and then we can like slowly work our way back. So we should have a margin on the bottom, so maybe like 30 pixel margin, because if you look at this design, like there's a little bit of a boop, and maybe we'll set another break to just move this down to be lazy, but let's keep styling for now. Let's just get it looking sort of like what it's supposed to look like, and then we can move backwards. Because the design's not going to change. Like this is not going to change because we're moving something. It's going to be something else that's going to break. All right, so that kind of gives us a nice little top margin of maybe the line height. We can just do something like this. Yeah, that looks slightly better. Trying to decide like anything else that we might want to do, but I think that's it for now. Then we can do like the H1 span that I put in there, which is going to have that other color that I set up here that apparently is not working correctly. Yeah, darkish reddish gray. HSL. It's just easier to read off there too right now. All right, we're coming soon. Cool. And then set the font weight to normal, I guess. looks so weird. 600? I guess that's pretty closer. Yeah, I guess so. All right. Now we can just add another break here. Don't forget slash. Did I just up? I'm like, what happened to the word soon? There we go. We're coming soon to a place near you. All right, so now we kind of have like the beginnings, right? So this kind of starting to look a little bit like this. Maybe a little too thick here. This looks fine. Obviously, margins are still pretty messed up, but we'll get to that. Or maybe... Cool. Just want to give that like its own thing. Now looking at this, right? This is desaturated red. I guess that's what the color they're calling it right now. So we have that, and then we have the form, which we'll do last. But let's get the P, which I didn't give a class to. But I guess it's the only P, right? Yeah. So we'll just style that P straight up as a P. So the color will be this. That was easy. Then we'll set the line height to like 25 pixels, 28 pixels. Yeah. That's it. That's all we need. We don't need anything else. Maybe font weight should be set to like 200. Is that what? I guess we could just use that everywhere else. Let's like this. Okay. All right. Yeah. I just want the regular. Thank you. Just realized that like I'm going insane. I'm trying to get this to do some things here. Then we have this left section, which basically houses everything on that left side of this image. And then this is by itself, so let's do that. So the left section of the containers we'll put with the container here so we know where it's at. Let's try and keep it together. I know it's supposed to be in alphabetical order or whatever the requirements are. So there's a background image provided, which is in images. Is it? Is there an image? Yes, it's that. I'm like, is there an image? Did I just make that up? Images, and this one. Now we get the cool funky pattern that's there. And we should set this to size. So, yeah, we should set the size to cover. We should probably set positionings on it so that it starts in the center. And then we'll do 0 pattern, then 4 E's and 4 E's. To give it like this edge, right? Or the beginning of the edge. And then we'll set the width to 60%. Because now we have like, this is one side and this is the other. So when I do like a full screen, whoop, like this is one side, this is the other where the image will go. So shrinks back down again just so we can keep working as is. And then itchy under here, what we want to do is did I? Yeah, okay. Got to set one more div here, thinking about this in the way I want it to work. Like, this will be the content of that div. Like, just to be a little... Just format this real quick. Just get some nice looking, like, stuff so I can see where we're at. So I wanted to set, like, one more section. The content of that section needs its own, like, piece. And it's just gonna set some widths inside of the actual, like, this, because it's 60% right now, but in a minute we'll want to do something like left section content, and inside of that we'll set the margin to 0 and auto, and then we'll set a max width inside, just so that, like, it will make more sense, but as we build it more out. But, like, as you can see from here, like, obviously this is all messed up, but, like, we're starting to get the shape of this together, and it's slowly becoming what we want. Okay, so we're kind of at a point now, like, where I can delete this email address out. So this is a placeholder, but it just looks obvious right now. Now, what we could do really quick while we're doing sections, right, is do the right section. Set that to width of 40%, which makes 100% of the page now, right? So inside of there is just that one tiny image all by himself. And nothing else. Like, it doesn't have anything else in it. Like, I'm not putting words or anything else in there. We're literally just going to do an image here, and that's going to be this person who's going to live inside of that, right? So what we can do is add one more class. We'll set it to not background. She's a hero. She's our hero. And then we can style that to be something like, because before we called it hero image. For image hero, one more time, we got this hero image mobile for that top section, right? But we didn't do anything for the other part. So what we can do is we'll do some... Do I really want to do it this way? I guess so. Like, yeah, like, what I'm thinking is, like, we'll set the background image to the URL of the actual... What is going on here? We don't need that many parentheses. Image hero. Whoa, doubling up, going right through me. All right, so, like, now if we set the size to cover, and then, like, is it me or is it really grainy? But I think the image in general is supposed to be like that. And then we'll center it all up. So now it kind of, like, now that we've got it spread out, like, we can see that it almost looks like what we want, right? So we look at this, and now if we go back to this and go here, it almost kind of looks like what we want. So we just got to fix this annoying thing. And then we get to do regex, which is everybody's favorite thing, especially mine. Welcome if you just joined. I see 3 or 4 more people just hopped in. We're sort of like 60% of the way there with stylings. We're currently building out the base apparel front end mentor challenge. We're just talking about like the only thing really left to style is this annoying form section. And then we got to type some JavaScript out and do all that fun stuff. Apparently I was not live for a second then. So apologies. What's happening? It looks fine to me. Okay. Thanks, Twitch, for complaining. I guess I'll keep my stats up to make sure the bitrate doesn't drop too far. All right. So now we need to just do the form. So we have the form input done, but we've got to style it so it looks kind of okay. Kind of okay being the key thing here. So let's set a position of relative. And let's set a margin on top of maybe like 30 pixels. So now, get rid of this, and whoop, there we go. Now we have like the gap between, so we're kind of like iterating through like what we need. Then, so the form doesn't do anything else. Like the input's where everything happens. So set the background color to something like transparent, so that like we can see through that. Then we can set like the border, because the border needs to be 1 pixel on solid. Right now it's that, but it needs to be that desaturated red color, as they call it, which is at the top right now. Decided not to use variables. Well, first of all, is that the reason that might have been why my variable wasn't working all along and I just skipped over it like, bruh. Let's find out real quick. Because if it is, then we'll just set it to the variable name. Here's one. Var space. Yeah, that seemed to work. All right, cool. Let's quickly set this everywhere. Because I wrote those variables like, we should use these, and then got mad that it didn't work first time, and that's because apparently I can't read. And I'm not paying attention enough. That was all of them, right? Yeah. All right, cool. So now it still looks exactly the same, and if you just chimed in like you didn't see anything different than 5 seconds ago. But now we're using the variables. So now we can set this to var desaturate red, and now the border is the right color. So it's just one thing real quick before we move on. Like making mistakes is totally cool, and like I would have just left that alone. If I hadn't been paying attention, I would have just been like, it's cool, I can keep writing it out every time. That doesn't look right. Maybe that's right. We'll see once we put border. But like I made a mistake, and like I caught it afterwards and went back and fixed all the problems. But like everybody makes mistakes. Been doing this for a long time, and I know for a fact a lot of people make mistakes. Me, seen other people make mistakes throughout their careers, and it's okay to do it once in a while. And like if you can fix it, just go ahead and fix it. If you can't fix it, find somebody else to help you. I think I already set the font size, right? Yes. So that should fix all of those problems. So now we're closing in on like what it should look like. This button obviously needs to be over here, and this needs to be only shown when someone does something silly. But we're getting closer to like what it should be. So we've got to handle the focus. And to handle the focus, what we want to do is set the outline to nothing. Because otherwise, what happens. So like now you can see like it's just a straight line and there's nothing fancy going on. But before, if I take this outline out again, save, you see how like who want if anybody's ever styled a box before, like who wants to be like, that's cool, just go ahead and put this around it. I know like web standard's been around forever and blah 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 blah, and we've been doing this forever and this rigmarole and everything changes and some people don't support something and other browsers do support something, but do we really have to do this every time? Okay, box shadow. Is there a box shadow? I just assume so. There's been a few before. Yeah, it looks like it. Alright, so the box shadow, like on one side, is just going to be like that. And then this, but with like more, half, more, half, like that. Oh, need an A. That looks good. Then we've got to change the placeholder color from what it is right now. So like the placeholder color right here in this desktop preview is this desaturated red. So let's just set that. So to do that one, it's input placeholder. Think that's the right what's the word for it? Selector. I'm not 100% sure. We'll find out when we hit save. Okay, it was. I couldn't remember what the actual thing for this was, so I'm glad that worked out. So now that we've done that, we should do, yeah. So like there is going to definitely be an error on the input, and it's just going to be a border, right? That's all they do for active state. Yeah, like set this border to like this thick red to say like you made a mistake, which is it's not unheard of. So let's make it 2 pixels because we made the regular border here 1 pixel, so it'll just stand out enough. And then the variable is that soft red. So now if there was an error, we would know, but we don't know because we don't know right now. But this will do something at some point in the future, in a while. Now the button here that's like floating around over here right now and is not where it should be, we should move that over here and say like this is what I want it to be. All right, so that padding gonna be messed up probably. So the button's gonna be in an absolute position because I want it to be absolutely there. Okay, so now it's over here. Like in the design, it's inside of this versus like the outside where a regular button might be. It's like on this side. So to take care of that, we can do. So first, let's set the background to the gradient, which is like what I named so perfectly. Gradient 2. Alright, so now we kind of have this weird looking buttony thing over here. It has a gradient, but it doesn't have like a good size or shape. So to start with, let's just set like a Sure. I think that's going to be fine. It might not be fine, but there's only one way to find out, right? Maybe. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole. I can feel it already. Like, I don't know. It kind of feels like it should be right, but like, yeah, that indeed. Well, that doesn't look very good at all. Actually, maybe not. Maybe I just too harsh on myself. I thought it didn't look right, but it's just very, very solid, and it's too tall. Okay. Cool. So, oh, well, no. Yeah, there we go. Like, yeah, it's definitely too tall because I'm not setting the height to the same as what it should be for the other part. So we're kind of almost like good for this. Like, there's not much left to do for the button itself, except from when like you hover over it. There's going to be a change. So the active state right here, like it goes boop, sort of like flashes. Is that the right word? That's not the word I'm looking for. But when you hover over it, just set the opacity to something else. So like 0.5, 0.7. Let's start at 7. That looks so janky. Why you look janky? No, I want to transition it. Maybe if we do like a transition of like ease, and set the opacity. Nope, still looks janky as fuck. I mean, Well, for now, just for now, we'll leave it as is. We can come back and maybe fix that later. It's not like 100% wrong. It's just that what's happening is that the overflow is not being hidden properly, which might be my own problem. Like, I might need to just fix a couple things in probably this, maybe make it look nicer. But like overall, it's not affecting how it works. So what do I call that error icon? Because it's bugging the error message. Nope. Nope. Email error. Who came up with that name? Was it me? I don't remember calling it that, but it's fine. We'll set it to display none. We'll set its position absolute also. And then top. Wait, get rid of this. We'll do that last. There we go. Maybe 10 pixels. Something vibrated in my room. What is vibrating? So what we've done here is like moved maybe 15 was right. I took a stab at 15 thinking they both look wrong. Split it down the middle. There we go. Splitting it down the middle. Always works every time. So we're kind of in a position now like where it's almost all coming together. Um, we got to fix this so that it's hidden when we don't want it and then displayed when we do want it. Kind of similar to this, but thinking of like, so this is like, so this right here, I'm like pointing at that screen. Like, can you see, guys see? Like right here. No. Use your icon. All right. So this icon, right? We're gonna set it to display none. Squeeze me. No. So now it's gone. So we can't really see it, but like when there's an error, we'll want to show that. So like the form.error. Is that right? And then email icon. Display block. Okay. And then this error message, right? Don't forget to set to class. We'll set this to display none. Okay. But don't want to do that till afterwards. But we'll set the margin on the top to 15 pixels. Give it that gap because right before it's pressed up against this, and we don't want that. We want it to be like down here out of the way. Then we can set the margin left, like, I don't know, 25 pixels. So now it's like underneath the email address. It might need to go a little more. Now it's gone too far. Lols. Not that many pixels. There we go. Then we'll want to like set it to that color of soft red. Because that's the color it is when you look at this. Oh, puppy. Hello. Active state. Zoom, 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 zoom. Like this color is that soft red. That's sort of similar to these. So now that we have it set to soft red, we'll display it none when it's not available. Every time. Always forget that other one. There. Yes, I hear you down there, bud. And then when there is a form error, it just makes sense, yeah, just to do. So now if there's a form.error, the email icon and this. Wait, no, don't want to do that. I want to do this. Error. Error message. Oh, no, hold on. There we go. If there's an error, and this error message can now be displayed too. If you're not 100% sure what you just did there, this is like a query that does two different things. So it will set this and this. And because they're doing the same, basically they're doing the same thing anyway, this error message and this icon are going to appear if there's an error. So that takes care of that. Don't really have much else to do. Shall we fix the script? Do we want to do some stuff? Yeah. All right. So we're going to have two constants here, one form and then the actual email address for sure. So do document dot query selectors, and then we want whatever the name of it is. Go dang it. What did I call this email address? Is the class document. That's in the wrong spot. Good job. Is that right? Or is it like this? I think that's class selection, right? And then this will do just the form. Sure. Query selector. Can I just do that? Yeah, I'm sure I can just do that. Then we can just do like an add event listener that says submit something like this. Prevent default, because that will probably screw us up. Basically, this just you don't do it once. So with submission forms, occasionally, like if the async function is not running at the same time, or like you clicking the button like 1,000 times. You ever done that? Like when you get mad at a computer and you think the way to fix the problem is just to violently click on the same thing over and over again until it works? Well, that's essentially stops you from doing that. Like when one action that is not cancelled is running, don't let it do anything else. Then we're going to check the email address value. Email entered equals email dot value. Not no value, just value. Value. Am I really going to fight with you? I win. Maybe it's that. Maybe that's why it's complaining. I don't know. Well, I'm going to leave it like that for now. I thought it was the other way, but I can never remember when you use query selector if query selector uses the ability to select the class names. It's definitely the class name, right? Yeah, it's definitely that. Hold on. Let's not beat around. Hold on. Let me just set this to email form. No, sign up form. Sign up form. Sign up form, please. And here. So the value, I need to change. Nope, no, I don't. That's the reason I did it. Okay, so we're going to do like an if statement here that says if is email is valid email, and then email entered. This all makes sense in a second. Like right now, I'm building out like what in my mind what it should be, and then there'll be a function that does this. So if it's valid, I guess if it's valid, like, you know what? Let's do the negative of this. If it's not valid, right? This will make it easier. If it's not this, if it's not valid, then we can just go class list, add error, right? Because then what we'll do is we'll say, hey, if this form.error, like, hey, just add that, and then everything else will take care of itself. Else, in case it's already been, like, so there's a case where it could have already been added, right? So we'll just remove it regardless. And then inner HTML just set thanks. I don't know if that's required or not, but we're gonna do it anyway. Then we're gonna write a function that says is valid email, and it's gonna take that email entered, and it's gonna do a regex expression. I'm not writing this out. Just use my own package to do this. So here is a nice short and sweet email. And it basically says, and bingo. All right, so I wrote that out. So this should check if the email's entered and then say, nope, like you done messed up. Okay, doesn't actually work right now. Did I put the script in? I did. Did I mess something up with selectors? More than likely. It's not my first rodeo. Keep banging that dang microphone. All right. Let's see what that comes out to. Give me some more tools. Give me developer tools. It is all scrunchy. Okay, hold on. Well, that's not the right error. It's also not my email, but so this is definitely not firing at all. Okay. First of all, did I make this button submittable? That would probably make sense, right? If we like actually did something. I mean, it should be working. Have a script inside the body that says, hey, this script.js. What did we do here, people? So this should be firing, but it's not. And I wonder why. Oh, haha. Document.body.integer is not a function. Okay, so this is working. This. Get out of here with your dang self. I know that HTML5 document.body image is not a function. What did I write here for? Yeah, I suppose you totally are cool. Yo, we all make mistakes. We went through this earlier. Sorry. Response. Cool. Well, when in doubt, be in here. I mean, that works. Okay. So my skills sort of make sense. Okay. So refresh and then try test at test.com. You can't see that, but okay, and then step over. So test at test.com is indeed a valid email address. Okay. Thank you so much. Glad I know that. And then wrong at gmail.com. What? Why? Why? All right. So how do you turn that off? Anyone remember how you turn off form validation? Anybody in chat remember that? Remove HTML5 form validation. No validate. Really? Why? Look, I understand that we're trying to make the internet foolproof and easy for everybody in the universe, but like, going. All right. Wouldn't it make more sense to like validate it, but still let somebody click the button? Test.com. Okay. Boom. Pew, 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 pew. Finger guns that you can't really see, but I'm finger guns. So that works. And then if we just go like, yep, now it's cool, it's valid, like, all right. Okay. So if you're wondering where I got this great script from, like, I've seen people try and do some crazy stuff with form validation. This is all you need. This will tell you if you have a valid email address. You don't need these like slash starts with blah blah like all these. That's still valid. Like, so this is like a nice shorthand version testing emails. Like the package that I wrote basically does a bunch of stuff. It does like GitHub. And anyway, that's not really important, but it's called regex. So like you can use this as an npm package, and just use it by doing something like this: string and then match and then pattern. So you can do it the way that I just did it, which is I just stole it. But like if you ever want email validation, just go in this helper file, go to regex patterns, and then just go to email and just yoink it out of there. Or if you need URL or source images or slugs, IPv4s, Visa and MasterCards, etc., etc., these all take care of that for you. Because apparently the internet hates writing regex, and I love writing regex. So I wrote a bunch for you. Just go ahead and use them, so that I don't have to keep writing these packages. All right. So this looks pretty good. It looks pretty nice. The only thing that sucks is on the mobile. When we do mobile phones, like if I just go, give me some developer tools, please, and set this to, I don't know, an iPhone. I mean, you can still enter the email. It's not very good, but you can still enter it. So let's go ahead and fix that part by adding the CSS that says, like, if it's this size, do some other stuff. And then at that point, we should pretty much be done. And it only took us, I don't know, where's my stream count? An hour and a half, which seems to be about every single one seems to be about an hour and a half long. I did the last one last weekend. It took me about an hour and a half to get stuff done. It's not logo, it's hero, image mobile. No, don't know. No, it's not. It's not. That one is logo. I'm thinking of this thing as the logo now. Logo. So let's make the margin 30 pixels with 0. And then the width is 100 pixels. For now. We might change it, but that looks like a decent, like, it's a decent size. It's small enough. It's not too crazy. Because we don't want it to be huge and we don't want it to be, like, ridiculous. And then for, like, H1, we'll just set the font size down. For now, I'm going to set it to 40 pixels. But we'll... What did I set it to up here? 3 EMs? So let's do, like, 2. Yeah, that'll do for now. Yeah. So that'll set, like, the... this to a decent size. Like, we don't want it too crazy. Then I think we want to set, like, the thing I keep talking about. Block. So that should shut. Yep. And then we'll set the margins to 0 on the, and then I don't know, like 35 pixels in the negative space. That might need to be more. That just, like... Now we're going to do funkiness, because, like, my concern, obviously, is, like, freaking iPhone 5s, tiny screens. So what you can do is do a calc. If you've never used calc before, you can do something like this. So specifies the width of the content area, padding area, and border area depending on the box sizing. This is actually a really good one to... Let's open this one. Usually I get really angry because VS Code messes up my stuff, but this one we actually want to know. So, like, where's the... Min, where is my... do you not have, like, calculate here for the width properties? Okay, fine. Width calc. CSS example. Here we go. The calc function lets you perform calculations where specify property values in anywhere from length, frequency, angle, time, percentage numbers, integers, blah blah blah. So it takes a single expression as a parameter with the expression results used as the value, right? So this would do like this does 100% plus another 80 pixels, so that kind of gives it that like stretched out look. I'll get rid of this in a minute, and it'll make more more sense. But like, let's just get rid of it now. Right section display none. So it gives it that like stretched out look. Like if I did like 300 pixels, see how it like makes the size, the whole thing change shape. So when we do this and then we set the left section, because right now it's 60% of the stream, but we want 100% now because we don't have a secondary section. Now it looks pretty nice, but I don't like this margin. Now I like it. All right, there we go. So overall, it looks pretty good. What happens if we put it on like an iPhone 5? Still looking pretty sweet. Button still looks kind of fine. Debugger still works. Please provide a valid email address. Maybe we don't want to. But overall, like, this looks great. Like, I am fairly certain we would not get hired. But it looks good. Yeah. And then maybe like, I don't know, refresh and try bad.com. Please provide valid. Okay. Let's do just a test. Hey.com is coming soon. Want to make sure that's a valid email address. Cool. So there you go. So we have built out the base apparel. Looking good. Looking like it should. So now we should just begin the next one. That one was too easy, he says. Laugh out loud. Not really. We struggled with some stuff, right? So, like, let's go back and just kind of talk about what we were doing. Where is my code? Here. Like, a couple things were kind of dicey. Like, apparently I've forgotten how query selector works, so I couldn't get that right. And then on top of that, we can just get rid of these console logs now. On top of that, you got HTML5 validation for Chrome doing some cool stuff. So thanks, Chrome. And then on top of that, we just had some overall like styling issues that shouldn't have taken that long. Do we want to do another one? What time are we at right now? 1:32 and 10 seconds. Do you reckon we can squeeze one more in? Probably. What time is it? 3:30? Like almost 5? Maybe? Let's see what it is. How does that sound? Should we start there? Challenges. Sort by easier first. It's got to be this one, right? Yep. Mobile. Just mobile. All right. Open. And then I'll just dump this somewhere else. You can't see right now while I just go dump this here. Okay. And then open this one. full screen that puppy so we can see what is going on in the universe. Let's see here. Do. Okay, style guide, design. That's the most important thing. So we have an active state that says, hey, like, make sure these aren't empty, make sure this is an email. Desktop design looks like this, mobile design looks like this, and preview looks like this. Looking nice. So I suppose we can kind of get that going. But first, let me just do one thing. I need to change the name of the stream because we're moving on. So the stream currently is wrong. So now I have to figure out how to do that on the fly because I've never done that before. There we go. This one is called Intro with Sign Up. Update. Coolio. That should have done it. And one more thing. Leave that open. Okay. We're almost ready to go here. Just that doesn't help, does it? I was like, I need to open an incognito window so I can just check Twitch, but it doesn't really help. So we'll just do it a different way. So, out now, brown cow. All right, so let's get going. Like, this one should be easy. So looking at the design, I said that about the last one. The left side is going to be like learn to code by watching others. It's going to be an H1 here and a simple H1 at that. Like, there's no like this is this color and this is that color. And then we have a P underneath. And then on the sign up form, we're going to have a button here. I think, yeah, that's got to be a button. Or at least we'll call it a button for now. And then the names, addresses, check to make sure they're empty, claim your free trial, and then terms of service. It's pretty simple. So this is going to be what I think we should probably do. So we'll have a main section. And we'll set that here. Let's get rid of this footer. You all know who I am by this point. So we don't need that. I accidentally closed my chat. 10 out of 10. Stylish gamer. There we go. We'll set this to container. Container. Then we'll have like another container here that contains just like the, I guess we'll call it like here, class equals text, heading content, which is kind of what it really isn't. And we'll set that to just to here, right? This will be like it's almost like left side in the last part of the stream, and this would be the like right side here. And then we'll set this one to an H1. Okay, because it's H1. This is a P because it's again just a paragraph of text. Like, it's not doing anything crazy or anything crazy with it. Let's just format the document so we get nice margins, and then we'll have another div here, and we'll class that one out as like sign up. Sign up one word or two? I'm going to say it's two now. Content. And then we'll close that div out. I'm thinking about, like, is that terms of service part of the same? Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's part of the... It's not really part of the form, but it is. So, it is in my world. Right, there we go. Delete you out. Then we can just do some... It's going to be a lot of different things here. Lord of mercy. So this itself is technically like a button. Like, it's not going to do anything, but technically it just looks like a button. So, like, we can just use that as, like, what it is. So what we can do for that is set it to a button, sort of. So we'll just say try it button. Yeah, that I'm just trying to, like, make sure that we use correct function. And then we can set this to a form, and then we'll set the class to form. And then it should be all wrapped up nicely. Okay, so that's like the form. Can you format this? So, like, thank you. And then each one of these is going to have its own I guess so. Right. All right. Yeah, I guess. So what I'm thinking is, right, we'll set a class of, like, input content, right? And we'll just wrap each one of them in like this. Enter, and that's also a div. And my phone is just over here going crazy, and I just realized it's just the dog's going back and forth in the yard. My wife letting them out, and then letting them back in, and then letting them out, and letting them back in. So she must be having fun down there. And then we can do, like, the error message handling inside of the form inputs. And then all we'll do is do, like, a button for the free trial. That's just going to be claim button. And we'll close that out. And then we'll do a little nice little piece here. So, like, it's taking shape already. You can see the ideas that are coming through. And through my, like, thought process of, like, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. Like, thank you for the follow, by the way, Mick Rog, one of those. Sorry for butchering it, but thank you for the follow, appreciated. Did my notification work? I don't know. It may or may not have worked. If it didn't work, let me know in the chat. So, oh, great. Thank you. I was like, oh, it didn't work. I'm really annoyed now. Cool. So, like, now we have, like, the shape of this. Like, this is a button. And then I guess I should just do something with this stupid just div class. We'll just set this to, like, terms info. Okay, so, oops, copying and pasting too fast. So, and then by clicking the button, you agree into our terms and service. Go back to the design real quick. The terms and service here this is a link, right? So let's quickly just take care of that because I'll forget, and then I'll be like, why doesn't this look right? Because that's just how I am. Okay. Like, just that. All right. I'm like, should I set this to something fancy? But I guess for now it can just be an A, and then we'll set the closing tag around it. Okay. Guess we should probably do that. Look, VS Code. Me and you are gonna fall out today. Okay. Let's go live so that we can see where we're at here. This is kind of what we're looking at. It's not very fancy right now, that's for sure. This looks like my first ever attempt at web development 10 years ago. And that was before like HTML5 made things easy. Let's just put no validate on this. As we just found out in the previous one, like validation is the bane of everybody's existence. So other things to consider, I guess, right now is we can put a class. Right, so like, I guess the easiest way to do this is to set this to input type of text and then add the class name. I don't know why I'm trying to write class names of like first name. That's why, because I'm thinking of the word first name. And then we'll set the placeholder to first name. And then we'll just close that out. Cool. So now we have like just the beginnings, right? So we're going to have to do this for everybody. And just to make this quicker, I'm just going to do what you're taught probably not to do very often, but copy and paste, people. It's good for the environment. So this will be last name, and this will be your last name. And this will be, I guess, what should we call the class name to make sure? I guess just email's fine, and then we'll set email address, and we'll set the type to email, even though that doesn't actually matter. The only problem with setting it to this is if the if we had validate on. So this no validate, right, just disables this from being validated. So I could write and it's going to be fine. But if I set this off and then do the same thing, like .com, like this would error out. Obviously, it's not going to do it right now because we still have some more stuff to do. But on submit, they would be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" There you go. So please include the @ symbol. But we don't really like. I don't want that because in the active states here, this will never fire. So like if the first name and the last name was right and the password was not empty and it looks like it wasn't an email, you'd get the form validation from HTML5, which in most circumstances is totally fine. But when you got custom form validation, you have to remember to turn that off. Otherwise, you'll be fighting annoying validation. All right, placeholder is password. Right, so now we have a class of passwords. Placeholder is password. Then what we can do while we're here, right, in the active states, if something is empty, or doesn't look right. So like we just did this previously in the last one. Like looks like this is not an email, and this can't be empty. So let's just add the divs to take care of that. So let's do a div class is like error text, and that one's going to be first name. Is it first name can't be empty? First name cannot be empty. Oh, okay. Play with me. There we go. And then we'll just copy and paste this all the way down. Also, so now we kind of like it's going to look weird right now because it's going to just be there, but it will make sense. I promise it will make sense when we get a little further in. Now that we have that set, now let's just change these to last name cannot be empty, maybe email. Is it this does not look like? Looks like this is not an email. Look, hello, I'm typing. Looks like this is not an email. And then this is password cannot be empty. All right. So now it looks like we got basically all the error messages there. Do they give us like an error icon as an SVG? Okay. So then underneath what we should do also is like just put the error message in, like the error icon in there right now. Now this might, it's when the CSS happens, it'll just be easier to like have it already on screen. So like I like to do 50-50 split when I'm live streaming. It makes it easier to just like edit, hit save, and then see what happens. Like in my regular job, and I'm sure a lot of people will probably do the same thing. They'll dual screen like what they have. So form error icon. And then we'll add a class of error icon. So that should take care of that. Close the, no, don't close the form. Close the, oh, wait, no, I already closed it. What am I doing? Okay, so that will like shows up now, and then we'll just hide it, and then we'll add it back and all that kind of fun stuff that we did before. So now we should have 4 errors on the screen. So we're almost kind of done in this section. Do we add classes here? We've added classes here. Oh, we probably should add the source, which will just be script.js, because we're not doing anything crazy here. We'll make a new file, call it script.js. That'll do all our validation, and then style.css, which will do all of our styling, and we'll add that to the top. Man, it is toasty in my office today. It's like, I don't know, 73 Fahrenheit outside, but it feels like it's probably closer to 80 in my office right now. I can feel the AC running, but yeah, it feels hot. Source will be styled. No, that's the wrong one, isn't it? It's href is set to style.css. All right. And we should be good. So at this point, like we got base level of everything that we might potentially run into. I'm trying to think of maybe like, let's go back to the design. I guess there's a span there, right? So we should probably fix that. Let's do that. Do, 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 do. There is a span for try it for 7 days. So we're at a span here. What do we span on the other side? No, let's span here. It's not gonna look any different right now. It still says the same thing, but when we do a styling, we'll be able to do like try underscore button and then like span and then do something here and then do something over there. When like this will be the default style, and then this will be its own special styles. So we have that now, and then I think we're pretty good. We set a div around here for headings. Then we did the sign up content, which closes out here. This form closes out there. All right. So we do get the style guide as always. Here are all the colors, which we can just pull out in a minute. The font size again is 16, and we're using Poppins 4, 5, 6, and 700s. I didn't check in the last one if I used them all. I'm pretty sure I did. It's fine. So to import, we'll do @import URL, and then we're going to need whatever it is. Yes, I would like you to open that. We want 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this is an easy way to like take that, and then if we grab this, hello puppy dog, I see you. What you doing? Coming to sit down? Okay. Are you coming to whine? Everyone can hear you. You should be embarrassed. Hi. What you doing? Come lie down. So that should import the color. I mean the font. Sorry. So we can close that now. So this is like just a quick way. Just change that to CSS because we're like if you know what font family you want, but you and the like the font weights, you can just import those without importing the whole thing. And then we can just do some colorings. So we'll set the root to red, and then whatever the red was in the style guide. This is a super good way if you're unfamiliar with variable selectors. So this is a way to set all the variables, right? Set them in the root, and then you can just reference like var and then the color, and then you're good to go. Which makes life a lot easier, in my opinion. And then we got blue, and then that's this one, style blue, and then we got dark blue and grayish blue. Dark blue and grayish blue. There's some interesting colors this time. This is the most colors I think we've had before. Grayish, spelt wrong because Americans weird spelling of the word gray. Yeah, I think this is the most font colors that we've had. So now that we've set them all, so now we can just like reference them whenever we feel like it. So like we can just do like color bar, and then like done. Like immediately that color is now going to be red. So now what we need to do is to set some resets. So let's reset everything. So just set the box sizing to border box, and the margins to 0, padding to 0, and the border to none. There. And that should be a regular colon, not a semi. So that, like, if you've never seen that be done before, that will shift everything. Like, there's no margins anymore. It like resets everything. you'll find if you don't do like this and then you start playing around with margins and padding, it'll all be skewed. So let's do the body first. So what am I doing? We need to do the font family because everything's going to be the same. Like, we're not going to change anything there. It's just going to be the same font every time. So let's set the font family to Poppins, which is the same one we used in the first time, and then we can set it to sans serif if you don't have Poppins. And as you can see, the code's already changed to the new one. The font size should be 16 pixels. And the color should be, I guess, triple F. Right, so like by default, the color should be always be white. So now we can't see anything, but it's fine. Like, it'll all be fine in a minute. Okay. So first, this main class, which is the container. So container, this will be why it's fine, because immediately we're going to set the background image, set to a URL, and that's going to be BG intro desktop. So images, BG intro desktop. Okay, that looks funky. That looks kind of like that. All right, back to the style here. And then we want to set the size to cover the whole page. Or the whole container, not the whole page, just that container. And then we can set the positions to center. Okay. And then the background color, I guess, for this. Let's look again. Okay. I guess that's like almost this color, but like with a slight opacity. So we can just do a 174 and like do like 0.5. What did I mess up? Commas. Okay. So that doesn't look like it's quite the right color. It's close, right? So we should look at this and say, this is kind of close to where we want to be, but maybe if we do something like this, that's even closer. Maybe one more. And then just look at the design ourselves. Like, look at this, look at this. It's pretty close. Maybe. What happens if I do? Maybe even like just setting it straight up. So let's just do var. All right. So I think it looks just. There's no need for like opacity there, but that might change in the future, right? So now we really need to set like a minimum height, and we'll just set it to the viewport. So now it's like the whole viewport, 100%. Give me everything. And then we'll do like 20 pixel padding, which gives you like the edge here, which should be enough to take care of. I guess we need our friend. Let's put that at the top. Actually, should go here. We need add flex so that. Oh god, so sorry. And align items to the center. Looks a bit better. Justify the content and space it evenly. Okay. So right now it looks horrible. Like what we're building is, and I keep saying this to people, it's like you have to iterate each of this pieces, right? One piece at a time. Otherwise, what will happen is you'll like like right now I just want to be like, oh, let's make everything in the right spot. But like, don't do that. Start like, this is the first element that matters. Work on this one, then work on this element, then work on these elements, then work on this freaking terms and conditions by itself. And then by the time you get to the end, you might only have to be like, oh, this is 5 pixels off, my bad. Like, let me fix it. Instead of being like, I gotta get everything 100% right off the bat. Otherwise, you'll just end up spinning your wheels and you'll just waste time. As someone who that's a bit strong word. Someone who disliked CSS till probably a year ago, like that's what I found that really helped. Was it header content that I called this thing? Heading. Okay. So like I found that if I'd work on a project and I was a back-end developer for what felt like a lifetime, but like I'd get these like projects from my boss. Finally, like someone persuaded him, like, hey, give him a project, see what he can do. So I'm like busting my butt, trying to make it look as cool as possible. Like, oh god, this is exactly what they like. It's exactly what they want. Like, I'm doing the best thing in the world. Like, I'm doing the best, and like that'll be fine. I think. I'm setting the max width, not the actual width. I was like, why did nothing change? So anyway, back to my story. Like, we spent so much time just like grinding on the same thing. Like, I would literally be like, this has to be in the perfect position. I'm not doing any more styling until this is exactly where it's supposed to be. And then this has to be exactly underneath it. And the project time went from like, oh, it's going to take me a week to do this, to 2 or 3 weeks, because I was just spending so much time focused on one tiny element of like a big picture. And then I felt afterwards like, oh, this is not for me. Like, I can't do CSS. Like, don't give me any more of this. Just give me back end work. I'm fine. Like, I'm unhappy. Don't give it to me. And what happened was, like, I realized afterwards it wasn't that I was unhappy with set that to 3.5 EMs. That might be too big. That's definitely too big. Well, I found out afterwards. No, that's not going to be enough. There we go. Something like that. 3 EMs. What I found out afterwards was that, like, I did like it. I just didn't like the fact that I spent so much time wasted doing that. So, like, take that into consideration that, like, you're not going to get everything perfect on the first run. And if you do, like, it's probably 1.3 EMs. No, 1. It's not EMs, is it? It's just straight up line height. That'll do for now. And we'll just add a margin at the bottom of like, I don't know, 30 pixels or so. Give us a space there. But like, you're never going to get everything perfect on your first attempts. If you do, like, major props to you. Like, I'll bow down to you. Something like this. And like, yeah, sometimes it looks pretty good on the first, like I'll do this and it'll look pretty good on my first like run through through the stream, and then afterwards I'm like, oh, go back and like fix a bunch of stuff for no reason. But like, just imagine that like people have been doing this for years, like years and years, and this is all they do. Like, every day is just grind out, like, this is their job. And this is not my job anymore, that's for sure. Flex of 1. Max width also, what did I set it to? 500, so plus or minus blah 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 plus that. It's probably that, or something around that number. But like, what happens is that people get really stuck up on things that, like, yeah, it matters, but you can fix it afterwards. In my opinion, if you can set like if you can get 80%, like I can guarantee. Yeah, I want flex direction. I want it set to columns. You know me so well, VS Code. If you get it to 80% on your first run through, I guarantee that there's gonna be 10 people that hate what you're doing. Just as a like FYI. They're gonna look at it and be like, nope, don't like this, don't like this, don't like this, and then you're gonna have to go back, fix it anyway. Even if they designed it. So just have a little like get it at 80%, look at it and say, does this look good? Does this look bad? If it looks good, like, okay, take a stab at this and like tell me what you think, and you'll be surprised what people come back with. So right now I'm styling this in case you're wondering where we're at. So I've kind of styled this part, but it like looks really weird right now, but just have a little faith that it'll look fine. I'm styling this button, and then we'll see what that looks like once we've added some border radius and some color. Wait, is it already? Didn't I already set that to white? Yeah, so I don't have to worry about that. By default, it's white. So we do need to set the font weight to a higher number though, because it needs to be quite margin on the bottom. 25 pixels. So like we're just trying to like figure our lives out right now. So it looks better if I make it full screen, right? So now you can kind of see what I'm getting at. I know that that's not what it really looks like when it's all scrunched up, but this is what we're aiming for. So let's see where we can get to. I guess so. Where are we at here with this? Like, let's set the text align to center. That'll fix some of our issue with like looking crappy. Now there's definitely a like just looking at this. There's definitely a shadow here, but it's not. I guess it's gonna be some sort of like weird, something like this maybe, and then I already set one with 249. Yeah, I think it's this. Like, I think it's gonna be like this dark blue color. I just maybe, and then like an opacity of like 3 or 5 maybe. We'll leave it at 5 for now and we'll figure it out in a minute. But like maybe it's more. Maybe it's more. It's hard to tell right now. Maybe if I make it a big screen. As you just see up my nose as I like zoom in. Okay. So we'll leave that for now. Like again, back to this thought theory in my head. Actually, this is wrong. This should be like a lightweight, right? Okay, and then because there's a span. That's the thing that's catching me off. Weight should be 600. There we go. So like this is big and bold, and then this is regular, which is the same as what we have here, right? Try it for 7 days, then it's this. I was like, that doesn't look right, and then I couldn't figure out why. So now we're kind of in this section right here. Like, we're in the form already, so like we're moving along quite quickly, but the form is probably going to take the longest. But it's kind of similar to the last form, so let's set the form to, I guess, just background color white. Did I mess up the form? Maybe. Maybe that's why it's all kind of, maybe, hold on. Let's just add some more stuff so we can kind of see border. Or is that flex being nice to me? Position should be a relative to everything else, please. All right. Go back to the form. Did we mess up? Did we mess up a div? Haha. Messed up the divs. Remember when I said like copy and pasting is the thing you should do all the time? You should not listen to me. Hey, kind of looks like a form now, huh? Doesn't that look much better? I was like, what is going on? Like, everything's so weird. I don't understand why Flex is being strange. So yeah, so when you do copy and paste things, which I'm totally cool with, and everybody should just copy and paste all the time. Like, if you've written something, don't write it twice. Apparently, what you should do is check how many divs you have on the screen, because VS Code just will keep adding divs. So we're getting closer. Let's see what it looks like. So that's what we got so far. So in my opinion, it's finished. No, in my opinion, it looks pretty good. Like from like a perspective looking in, if this is all we got left to fix, which honestly isn't that much work, like it's looking pretty good. Like yeah, there's going to be like annoying niggly things, like especially with the JavaScript that's coming out. Like we have to do a bunch of like validation. The good thing is that we can just use the same email validation that we used the first time for my regex package, and then all we have to do is figure out like, is this empty? Is this like not empty? All right, so all right, where are we at? Form. There's a box shadow. I have a disdain for box shadows because they just don't make no sense. It's going to be the same as this one. Is my guess. Which apparently doesn't show up. Did I do something wrong here? Like, do I not know how to do a box shadow? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's 4. And then what it's supposed to be. HSL, and then what it's supposed to be. Am I going crazy? Is there just a really like, well, hold on. Where is that? Where I said, I reckon it's just this and not. Yeah, okay. Oh, went too far. That's. I'm convinced there's a box shadow that just apparently not going to show up right now. We'll figure that out. Maybe we won't. You know me, I like to like breeze past things that we should be doing. All right. So all the input boxes in this design are exactly this. Like they're carbon copies of each other. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Even the button is the same width, height, length, everything. So that makes it easy, right? So we can just use the input, and then we can just set it to display block, and then we'll set the width to 100% because then, like now, this is like 100% of the container, not 100% width of the page, but the container. Then we can add the border, right? So we'll just add for now. Let's just set this to. D3, D3, D3. Yep. I mean, that's fine for now. I don't think that's actually what it is. I mean, that's pretty close. We'll leave it at D3 for now, and maybe we'll go back and just lighten it up slightly. It's like a little on the darker side, but it's close enough. It's going to be like probably like D6, D3, D3, or some variant of that, or D9, D3, D3, but we'll worry about that in a minute. Then we need to add padding around everything. So let's do like 20, 25, and 35. Yeah, keep forgetting the semicolon. Oh, that's too big. Those buttons, I mean, that looks like a thick box. That's close. I just realized that this is like MC Lars playing in the background, and like I've been jamming along like this is so good, like, really digging this song, and then it's my idol MC Lars. Did that do anything? If that's dark blue, I'll be very surprised. I like how they call that dark blue in the style guide. Now it's not even like a blue, in my opinion. That's like gray. But, I mean, it's the right color, at least. Okay. So, like, when we focus right now, it's the wrong. So, input focus. Like, we need a border color of variable dark blue. Dark blue, please. Okay. Oh, that's right. But then we need to turn off the. Oh, gosh. The highlight, which I can't remember what it was. Right in the last one. I'm slowing down here. Let's open this up. Just quickly grab that. I'll also be grabbing this afterwards. It's like form. There we go. Did I put the wrong color in on something? 249, 10, 26. 249, 10, 26. 249, 10, 26. Maybe it's supposed to be blue. Is that blue? Yeah, okay. Just blue, please. There we go. And then when it's regular... All right, yep, that was my mistake. My bad. All right, so we fixed that. Then we took the focus off, so now it doesn't do that annoying thing. Okay. So... Oh, my spine. So what I did originally was do wrappers around this, right, called input content. Now, there's a reason behind my madness. So what we're going to do is do some variants based upon if it's successful or not, right? So you can do something like this. So if its input content is successful, success, and then input. So this basically says if it's good. Then we can set the border color to green. And then do some other styling real quick to the content itself. Yep. And whoa, that feels a bit harsh. No. It looks a bit harsh here, but just have a little faith, maybe. So we want to do the first child of this input content, which is this. And we want to take the margin off the top. There we go. All right. And then do. Then we want to take the error text and say display none, because we don't want that to show up unless there's actually an error. Like, we don't want it in any other way. But real quick, I'm going to do something that to make it easier to make sure that we're doing it right. So like if we do this, set back to display block so it shows up, and then we'll set the color variable to red. Right. Then we'll set the font size to like, I don't know, half an M. Not half an M, James. That's way too small. Try 3/4 of an EM. There we go. And then we can do if I remember rightly, it's in italics, right? I'm not crazy. That looks like italics to me. Cool. And then we'll just align the text to the right. So now it's over here, and it basically looks like what you want it to look like. You don't want it to look any other way. So we did that, and then what we can do is take this and say, okay, dot error, and then just set the input content error text. I just completely forgot what we were doing. Display, just to make sure, like just to clarify why we set this to display none. You see like the spacing problem? So like this is display none is turned off, so it's still there, it's just white. Now it's like in the right spot. So that takes care of that. But now let's do the icon too. Like we'll do the same thing, like we'll do it reverse order. So we'll do input content, and then did I call it error icon? Let's see here. Error icon. Gave it a good name. So error dash icon, and then we'll display block. Yep, and then we'll position it as absolute so that we know exactly like where it's going to be. We'll set like 20 pixels on the top, and to the right 25. It needs to go this way. So reduce this number down. That looks like it's in the middle. All right. Looking okay. Looking okay. So now, like, this is what will show up when there's an error, right? So we want to just do error icon, display none, and then set this to dot error. So this will only show up if there's a new, like if there's an error. Now all we have left is this button here. Like right now it just looks like terrible mess, and we've got to do something with it, right? So It's called claim button. So let's put a dot claim button here. Set the width immediately to 100%. So background color is going to be that green. Just make sure it's the right color. I mean, it's pretty close. Yeah, so that's green. And then itchy here again. Okay. We need to set like all the, so we're going to do text transform, which means we can just set it all to uppercase because we want it to like stand out. It's a call to action button, and usually they're all in uppercase, and that's what they did in the let's do 15 pixels with 0 on the other side. Wait. Getting good at this, promise. Yep. And then we'll just set a margin at the top, right? Because we want this just to sit just a bit down. So like 15 pixels all the way down. What do we set this to? Is that 20? Yep. So let's set it to 20 also then, I guess. If we set this, we want these to be spaced evenly, so I don't want to like mess it up. And then we can do something around border radius to give it nice curved edges. Is that the same as what I set that to? Because I'd really like them to match. Nope. So that's a 10. That seems way too much. All right, set that to 5 then, and we'll set this one to 5. Yeah, it looks better. That looks less like our first ever. We do need to set the color. It's triple F. There we go. The font weight also needs to increase because, like, look at this button here. It's very like it's fatter. So I guess like 600. Yeah, I mean that looks fat enough to me. I don't know about anybody else, but it definitely looks fat enough to me. There's probably a box shadow in there, but like, do we really? Cursor pointer. So when we go over it, it'll do this. Boop, boop. Because it's technically what we want. And then I think this box shadow is probably the same as every other goddamn box shadow. But maybe not because it's green and not blue. So let's look at the design again. Okay. Well, let's take this box shadow and put it down there. Can I not copy and paste? Is my brain completely broken? But I don't think my box shadow is working correctly. That looks like what it should be, but box dash shadow 0 pixels 8 pixels 0 pixels 0 pixels HLS whatever. Okay, definitely 100% working. Apparently A doesn't seem to want to work properly. Oh, jeez. This is just me all over again. Box shadow works fine now, people, and that is freaking crazy. That's better. This is exactly what happened earlier. So if you missed the first half of the stream, when I was doing it the first time, either way, I'm pretty sure this one is just going to be like 30% with like 50. That's pretty close. Anyway, in the first half of the stream, I like couldn't figure out why variables weren't like these weren't working properly. but it was only one of them. I just assumed they weren't working. So I just was like, we'll just type them out. And then I realized that I had put an extra like set of parentheses around everything. Good times. Good times. All right. So I guess there's going to be a transition as we like transition of like all with seconds, and then we'll just ease. Yeah, it looks okay. You know what? Let's just do that. Let's not do that. Like, we're not getting extra credit. I am a firm believer in get what you're asked for. Alright, that looks good. Like, you'd be surprised how many extra clicks you get if this happens. Just as an FYI. And then, like, an active. So there's like an active state of this, right? Like when it's clicked, there's technically an active state on it. And what we can do is just do like this. And then just do a quick transform on it with like translate Y with maybe 5 pixels. This is gonna probably be fine. There we go. So now you can see like it just like when you click on it, like it moves. So if I hold this down, it'll make it easier to see. But you can see like it moves, which is just a little extra to like get people to appreciate things. All right, so what do we have left is just this like annoying small text. We are at the finish line, people. Let's do this thing. It's amazing how quickly like you get into the rhythm. So like I was looking at the time thinking, man, it's already been like an hour and a half. Like there's no way I'm gonna get this done in like a 3-hour stream. But like we're 2.5 hours in and we're doing the bottom box and then it's just JS. And JS is like my strong suit. So like it shouldn't take long at all. So we'll just set this to display. And then we'll add a margin at the top to push it off the top of that. I need to go further because it's box shadows. There we go. And then we'll set text align, center. Font size 0.75 EMs. Yeah. And now it's not white. Yeah, it's that gray color, and then that's actually okay. Okay. Grayish blue. Sure, that sounds like what it's supposed to be. That looks right. Did I accidentally put this on the wrong side of the... Yep. Beep. Put it on the wrong side of the... Oh no, wait. Oh. Okay. Wait. Delete that. Save. Yes, okay. Just for a second, I was really confused about what's happening. There we go. We fixed it. We figured it out. Copy and pasting everywhere. All right. Now it looks like it's... I was like, it looks weird. Like, it doesn't look like it's supposed to. And then we can do... terms info with an A to get the link there and just set the color to the variable like it's red And then we'll also set text decoration none. Boom. There we go. Now it's looking pretty sweet. But we still have some other stuff to do, right? So, like, the important thing is to remember that, like, this is supposed to be, like, on mobile and on thing. So, like, look at the mobile design. It's completely different, right? So, this right now, if I shrunk this down, this would happen. Which is no good. So, there's a couple things I want to do. First, I want to just do the mobile, right? So at media rule, screen, and then max width is 475. The same as every other one we've done so far. So up here, the dot container, we're just going to change the background. So dot container, background, image is set to URL, and then images. All right, what's happening? Oh, okay. Like, what is happening? Like, why can't I get autocomplete? Mobile. And boop. Okay, and then we should just look at this on a mobile phone. Oh god, on a 5, it looks horrible. All right, let's just do iPhone X, and then heading. We're gonna set this. So right now the size up here for the heading content, H1 is 3 EMs, so that's too big. So let's try font size 2.5 EMs. So a bit smaller, and then we'll add a margin on the bottom. Let's just set it to like 5 pixels for a second. I need to check what it was before so we can make sure we're not just doing the same work again. 30. So it's probably a third of that. Okay. Then the actual... the content itself has to be fixed too. So like, if we do 20 pixels with a 0, that should probably fix it once everything else starts coming together. Basically, this is going to move down underneath it. So in theory, that should be fine. So like the dot form, just the form, not dot form. Okay, we're almost kind of there. Almost kind of sort of. Promise. Like, what I'm thinking, right, is... what did I even set a flex direction up here? Spaced evenly. Like, okay. Okay. Just for max width of like, I don't know, 1024, which is the other style guide like requirements, I think. Once you equate in padding, etc., if we set the flex direction here to column, what is it supposed to look like? Why are you not going underneath. Did I mess something up again? Max width, right? So that would be 475, so that'd be the size of it. You're right. So that's right. So we set the heading content, we set the form, we set the sign up content. What it should be. I want you to go down there. Why are you not going down there? What did I do on the last one to fix that problem? I set max width to 600 and then set the whole thing to 100%. Well, that's not going to help, is it? So you should be... Well, you should be underneath this. So... Oh, maybe that's the problem. No, don't save. So... We're stuck. Lord help us. Well, I'm like 90% of the way there and I can't figure out what is happening here. What did I miss? Did I miss something important? Got it on flex and spaced evenly. Maybe flex, wrap. Sure. Oh, width. Is that like... What's the width of a... Anybody know what the friggin' width on one of those is? So it looks fine here. The width of 375 like ruins it. Default is row. Yes, you're right. I think that my actual problem was... Oh, nope. I wanted what that was. Put that back. Thank you. So this looks fine. So... max... width. So I think I set the max width before, right? So yeah, that's probably what's causing it to mess up. Interesting. Okay. We can go and fix that afterwards, I suppose. Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm thinking like this is what I wrote this media rule for. Thinking probably you are right. Oh yeah, 10 out of 10 for you. I wrote the wrong media rules. Nice. Thank you so much. I'd written a media rule for the max width instead of for the freaking... I actually don't think I need that either now. There we go. Yo, gold star. 10 out of 10. Awesome. Cool. All right, so now it looks good again. And then if we take this and we look at this, looks good too. Definitely looks like this. So all that we have left is the active states, right? So we just got to do the JS part, which is fairly quick and easy. So we're just going to grab the form again, the same way we did it last time. Because I'm using query selector, because I just gave all the class names. Is that what I called the form? Yes. All right. And then we've got first name, last name, email, passwords, and then at the event lister against submit. And then on the E, we'll do something here. We'll do E.prevent default right out the gate, even though it doesn't really matter. And then we'll do something like check all inputs. So that will check all the inputs, and then on top of that, like prevent duplication. We just need to get these, which pretty sure I called this first name. Just copy and paste this down, and then we name this one last name, call this one email, and I believe this one is just password. So that should give us all of the inputs to check. So let's double check class name first, last, email, password. So now we can just write the function that check form inputs. We don't need to take any inputs in because we're going to check them all at one time. Like we don't want to check them individually because like we need to know on submit if everything's filled out. The good news is the if statement is going to be the same. So it's going to be if first name equals that, throw an error. So we'll set error. Set error for, and then yes, just that. Right? Oh shoot, nope, that's not going to work right off the bat. We need to set the actual value. First name dot value dot trim. That's better. That makes more sense. I was like writing it out in my head and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Let's just make sure I can type these all out. Value dot trim. Email value equals email dot value dot trim. Value dot trim, and password value equals password dot value dot trim. So now we can just go, all right, if it's this, then we just set an error for this, right? And then we'll write one more thing that does basically what we're asking it to. Else, we'll just set success for first name. That's it. And then we can just do sort of. This will be password value. And also last name value goes here. We'll set this to last name. So the only one that's going to be different is the email, right? Because with email, we have to do two things. No, password value, just password. This checks to see if it's empty. I'm not really doing either. So I am just going through the front end mentor stuff. It's like a website called Frontend mentor.io, and it just has some challenges from easy to hard. I'm not really a front end developer. I do a lot of back end work, so I've just been doing this just for fun on stream, in between doing some other stuff for some other projects. So a lot of my YouTube stuff is more tutorials around back end stuff, and then I do a lot of front end / web development on stream. That's a good question. So what we can do here is check to see if it's set the email value, and then if it's empty, like immediately just set an error, because like who cares? And then we can set this to success. Oh yeah, it's totally no. There's a really cool site. Like, it's a really good question, but like, yeah, there's a pretty awesome site that has basically anything from like this full card feature, which I did on previous stream, was super easy. Like, this was just literally HTML and CSS. I didn't do anything else. And then they do JS, and then like if you do the hard ones, like it's like this one, like it's a multi-page JS CSS, like inner page, outer page. This is what it should look like on a tablet and a mobile design. And like most of them are free. There are some premium ones, but it's totally worth checking out if you're just digging some front end development and you don't know what to do, like, and you just want to play around. Like, a lot of this stuff is really good. So you can set this to like success if there's one more condition, right? So else if this is not an email value, and then we'll just mess up my whole if else statement here. Go. Then we'll set the error again. That's going to be probably similar or different, but like basically this does the functions of checking all of these. So to check if it is an email, that one's fairly simple because we just wrote that one, and we'll just take in the email again and say, hey, return, and then using my one from earlier, we'll just take this and we'll just put it here. We'll say is a valid email. So this is a shorthand version of checking emails. I've seen some crazy ones out there. Like, just pull this out of my npm package and you won't have to waste so much time. It's a short version. It checks for every kind of email address out there, and like it doesn't discriminate. I've seen a few out there that discriminate against things like plus flags, etc. But this doesn't do any of that. So now we just need to do two functions. One that says like set error for whatever the input is. I don't know if any of this is going to work, but we'll find out. And then one that's the opposite of that, right? Which is set successful. So we're going to take whatever this is and set the message based upon it, right? So for input equals so we want the parent of the input, so that's input dot parent element. That sounds right. And then we're going to add the class error. I think that's what we called it, right? Nope. I called it error text. So we'll do that. And then we'll remove just in case, right? So oh wait, hold on. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. It's that. Because in our CSS we used the name dot error, so the class dot error, and that will set that. And then for this, we'll just do the we'll just remove that. Cool. That should do everything that we want, he says. Complete confidence. My name is James. This is my email. And this is a password. RIP. Nothing happened. Oh no. Let's just see if any of them work. Alright, cool. Good start. Developer tools. Second name is not defined. That would probably be true. Why did I write second name? It's last name. Never. Cool. Da, 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 da. That was easier. It's set from good catch. Okay. So there we go. So they can't be empty. Looks like this is not an email. Password cannot be empty. And then if we fill this one in and hit claim, skip over the debug. This is now green, but these are red. Now let's test a email. Test gmail.com. That looks like an email, I promise. Ugh. Lord of mercy. Did I not turn that off last time? No validate. So now it has a input value but doesn't have anything else, so it should still error out the same way. Yep. So it looks like it's not, but then if we set it to test@test.com, green. All right, and then if we set them all, cool. So that is that one finished. Looking swanky and nice. I appreciate all the help in the chat. It's been a long stream. It's been 3 hours and 2 minutes of me streaming this, so I am mentally exhausted. Yeah, so that's everything. I believe that does everything in the active states. Yep. Cool. So this is the end of the stream. If you did enjoy the stream, you're not already following, go ahead and hit that follow button. We are very close to affiliate, so we'll be able to do some cool stuff. If you haven't already, join the Discord. We have a Discord that you can come and chat about code and do some cool stuff. That is in the channel description below. I join that all the time. We chat about some stuff. And if you want some more in-depth tutorials, I have a YouTube channel where I do stuff like interview questions for developers such as Java and JavaScript, along with like any of these VODs will end up there. So if you can't hit the stream, you can catch them over there. And that's going to be it for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.